My journey started quite a few years ago, actually. Um, I was a first time catch participant back in 2009, 10, when catch was fairly new. At the time, I was kind of like, yeah, and then I eventually stuck with it for a while, and then I was like, just decided this isn't for me, and I opted out at the time. Well, then a few years later, I, after relapsing, and continuing to, the cycle of addiction and, living that life, eventually, I was arrested and taken to jail. And my judge at the time was like, I was looking at some time, because I had accumulated some charges. And my attorney came was like, well, why don't you try catch court? And I was like, And at that time, I was more open to the idea. And I was like, yeah, why not? So I pled in 2015, and I went through the whole 2 years. I successfully completed probation, got off probation, and then I was in a relationship with somebody who was not who he portrayed himself to be. Found out he was an addict, and eventually I relapsed. There's a lot of things that factored into that relapse, but it was because I was kind of, at that time, I still had this idea of like things were going to be different and I could do this, but I'm not going to pick up and use this again. And then it was like my thinking was all like misconstrued and everything. So then after I relapsed and went back out, was out for another 2 years. And the crazy thing about all this in my journey thus far, getting to the point where I was like, I think I'm going to go back to catch court, deciding that all on my own. Nobody even had to come and be like, well, why don't you try catch court again? I had gotten a felony theft, and when I went to court, because, not picking up any charges in 4 years or more, they let me out on a war bond under stipulation that I was to report to the probation department to get my PSI done and started and stuff, and I failed to report. Well, then literally a week later, I was arrested on a new soliciting charge, and of course I had a felony warrant for my arrest. And that day, it was crazy because it wasn't the felony that was like, well, maybe I need some help. It was that new soliciting charge that I got, because I just, at that exact moment in time, I had made a conscious decision that this is not what I want my future to be. And it was just like I was completely open-minded from that point on. Was like, and I asked Catch, and without even like, it was just an automatic yes, we're going to take her back. There was no, because usually like when people are referred to catch, they have to have a team meeting, they have to talk to this judge and that judge, and they decide whether you're a good candidate or not. But they'd already knew me, and I had a rapport with them already, and they knew that I was, they knew what they saw, the capabilities in me. And I just really, like, this journey has been completely different for me, like completely. I have done a complete 180. I am a totally different person from who I was even 6 months ago. I learn new things every day, and this has just been a life-changing experience for me. Some people don't get a second chance, let alone a third, you know. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to the people who believed in me and loved me until I could truly, like, wholeheartedly love myself. Because I still had some things that I didn't realize, like issues that I had, like trauma that I'd experienced and this relapse was the worst relapse of all the relapses I've ever had. I really, excuse my language, it fucked me up, like mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. Like I was just beat down. I was tired, and I went through so much just in 2 years, as opposed to the 16 plus years I'd been using prior to that, And it was just like it was it was mind blowing, and I know that I had to go through what I went through to get to where I'm at. And it wasn't by mistake. It wasn't an accident. I truly believe that it was God's divine intervention. And, there's parts of my story that, people are like, oh, I can't believe this happened to me, or I can't believe this happened to you. But that was a part of my story that it was written before, you know what I'm saying? Like my story, all of our stories are written before we were even an inkling in our mother's womb. My story is God's story. The life that I lived, it was intended for me to live that life. So now that I've lived through the dark parts of my life, I've come out on the other end, and now I'm kind of like seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And now I'm that light in other people's lives. Like, I have dreams today. I have goals that I've accomplished, and everything I've done on my own. Like as far as like I got a license, I have a car. I have a relationship with my dad. I have a relationship with my son. I'm a mother today. There's just so many things that like the list could go on and on, but those are just a few. I've learned what self-love is. I've learned to love myself. I have learned to put myself first. I've learned to make decisions that are beneficial to me. I've put my own happiness first for once in my life, and I've made decisions that are based on me and what's good for me. And it's no longer about appeasing my family or pleasing this person or pleasing that person, because I did that for so many years. I sacrificed myself and my own peace of mind and my own happiness for the happiness of others. And as long as you were happy, I was happy. But that was not, it was for so long, like I thought that that was okay. And I'm realizing that what is most important is I'm making decisions that benefit me, what's good for me, and what makes me happy. It means the world to me. It's just freedom from the bondage of the life, addiction, and everything that held me down for a long time. The dereliction that I went through, and the bondage that I was in. Because not only was I bonded by the life and the drugs and the things that come along with it, had bondage within myself. You know what I'm saying? For a lot of years, I held on to things that kept me sick and also gave me an excuse to use. You know, well, if this had happened to you, you'd get high too. But now I'm really truly like freed from the bondage of self-destruction and self-hate, and all those things that that for a lot of years was like held me down. And now I'm just kind of like, you know I'm it's like the metamorphosis of the caterpillar, and then the turning, building that cocoon, and then like spreading its wings. And it's kind of like the process. It takes a while, and it's you know yes, I'm ready to spread my wings, and I'm ready to fly, and I'm ready to soar above, and I've done that. I've been able to soar above what's held me down. The gratitude that I have, not only for myself and the things that I've done, but for the people that pushed me in the right direction, the unconditional love. This journey has been, I think, a lot easier than the other journeys that I've had with Catch, because I've been so open-minded, and I've not like because and I've let go of old behaviors. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things that I was doing before was getting away with, but eventually, and I have a conscience today. You know what I'm saying? So that's helped as well. I have a conscience and I listen to that gut instinct. Catch court has saved my life and it's really given me a sense of self. Um, the staff is just, I mean, they push us to be phenomenal women and to reach our full potential, but it's women like them that role model that behavior, that help you to see that there are phenomenal women and there are people that care about you and there's no motive behind what they do. It's genuinely coming from the heart as people that love you, don't even know you, but love you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's taught me to love love myself in spite of, mistakes I make or things that I do that may not exactly settle right in my spirit, but I today can make them as lessons. I turn them into lessons, you know what I'm saying? Not, and I've learned also that it's either I'm all in or I'm all out. It's not, well, I'm straddling the fence and, oh, I can do this. Nobody else is going to know about it. But at the end of the day, I am the one that has to like, love, and accept that person that's looking back at me. Have I done the right thing today? Have I wronged anybody? Have I done anything that I need to correct? You know what I'm saying? Like, I do that naturally. It comes naturally to me now. Like just being a genuinely good person. It's just because you never know what somebody's going through, what kind of day they're having. So I just try to be good to everybody. Yeah, because I know what it's like to, be the outsider. And I know what it's like to be having a crappy day and just somebody smile, just somebody, hey, how are you doing today? It makes a difference because, when you're out there in addiction, you're lost. You don't have anybody that really cares about you. It's just what can they benefit from being around you? You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're only around as long as you got what they're looking for, and I like do things for people today out of the kindness of my heart. You know what I'm saying? Like where I work, there's people that come around. They're addicted and they don't have like there's this couple just a few nights ago, a couple weeks ago that I went in and got. I'll buy somebody a meal. I'm not giving you money, but I'll buy you something to eat because I know what it's like to be out there lost and broken and not have anything or anyone. I'm just genuinely a good, even in my addiction, I was still like that, but now more so now because it's like I just have a new uh, zest for life, a new outlook on life, and it's just like I was blind for so long, and now that I'm like can clearly see, it's like just the world is a much better place with me in it. So.